This is Brian Watkins, and I'm preparing this video for use in my Accounting 386 class. And we're going to take a list of simple information gathered by a business, and we're going to use Excel to prepare a marketing letter. So in our prior assignment, we took our data and we prepared a phone center dialogue where people could click through the customers and maybe call them and send a message of some sort. But let's try using the same data and rearranging it into a form letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a letter view page layout. This is an excellent way to use Excel as a word processor because you can see exactly where your margins are and the like. So let's take our top lines and make them big merge cells. We'll do that so that we can center some sort of address. Okay, so let's take the entire worksheet here. We're going to use as our default font. Actually, I don't want the whole worksheet. I just want my letter. So let's unclick that, and we'll take the letter here. That works. And we're going to make it Garamond font. I like it. I think anything in this font looks more important. So where is it? Garamond. Here we go. And let's just use a basic 12-point font. And here we're going to center, and we'll just put a header. Let's see. We'll call ourselves a bookstore. I like books, so we'll do nationwide booksellers, and we'll have their address. 96762. Okay, obviously this would be different compared to or pertaining to whatever business you might be running. We're going to need a bigger A here, so I'm going to shorten up the I so that we can do this without getting too out of center. I'll take G there. Let's see. Okay, yeah. We're on G. If I unmerge this and then I merge it back on G, good. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we look at the data, the way we were getting around in the data, let's see if I can show my numbers here, was to create a reverse spin button. So we have at the top a formula that counts the number of data records. Don't want to change that formula. Good, okay. And then in the middle, we have a number that adjusts with our spin control. And then at the bottom, we take the difference of those, and we call that the spin value. The spin value returns the number that were in our list. So the first spin value, 1, let's go back up here to 1, would be the first item in our list. So you can see that it's accomplished by setting the spin value at 195, and that returns 1, and that way we can hit down on our arrow, which decreases the number but increases the number on our list. So it's an easy way to get through data that's in a list. And what else we can do is if we look at our formulas, okay, right now we have some ranges for certain formulas, but let's create ranges for all of them so that we can manipulate the data easier. So we're going to highlight all the information, do Control-Shift F3, and create names from the top row. Okay, I've done that. So now if I go to my name manager, I can access any one of these fields by using the index command and a pointer number. And we have the pointer number being provided by this arrow up and down. So since we're going to be doing all our work on sheet 2, I think it might be better if we were to actually put our arrow up here in sheet 2. So we're going to do that. Go to Developer, and if Developer's not on, remember that you need to go to Options, bring this into the video, and the Customize ribbon, and make sure Developer's button is checked. If it's not checked, you don't see it. So we go to Developer, we're going to Insert, and I'll hover on this so you can see it's a spin button. So let's just put the spin button here. There's my spin button. And on my spin button, I'm going to, well, let's do this first. I'll say count A, and I'll take my names, or my name from the prior. So this will give me the number of records I have. There's 196 records. And then this is the button that I'll assign to my counter. My counter will be providing the change of number here. So my maximum value is going to be 1 less than my total, so that when the counter is at a maximum, my pointer is pointing towards number 1. So the current value will be 195, changed by 1 each time, and my cell link, I'm going to link it to right there. Okay, so now I should be, and I am, changing that button each time. And so if I come down here and do the difference between the two, I'm creating a number that I can name, and I can use it for my, I'll just call it a counter. Okay, and so now whenever I want to decide which record I'm going to be looking at, I can just go and I'll use my counter to step through it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's put our date. It's today, of course. And I don't want that format, so I'm going to go to my home and I'm going to format my date, and I'm going to use the additional formats that Excel provides. If they will come up, here they are. And the business letter format looks like that. We're going to slide it over to the margin, and then we'll take, and we'll go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll put our name. So the first thing we're going to use is the name and our counter, and I got, oh, I did it wrong, sorry, equals index, and then the name, and then the counter. And I think that this didn't come out right. Names, name, there we go. Kimmy. Okay, and so as I go down my list, you can see that the names are changing. So I've got the name. Now I'm going to get the address, index, address, and see I can hit the tab and pick up that blue. And I'm going to use my counter. There's my address. And now I've got several fields that I have to put together. So the first one is going to be the city. So I city counter. That worked, good. And I'm going to concatenate, or put that together with a comma. So I have to go and put in the comma, and I also want a space. So I'll close that and put it together with the state. Make sure I'm using the right name. State, comma, counter. Okay, and then I'm going to concatenate that with a space, and after the space, I'm going to put, whoops, I forgot my and, index zip counter. And that should build me my address. Okay, so I have city, state, and zip with the appropriate punctuation. Now I'm going to do my salutation, but I can't just type it. I have to do a formula. So I'm going to say dear space, I'm going to close it, and I've got to come up with just the first name. So I'm going to go and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to extract the first name from the entire name. And the way I do that is I look for, let's get the name first. So I'm going to start from the left, and I'm going to just do an extraction. So I do left index, and I want the name and the counter. Okay, so now I have the name, and what I'm going to take, the number of characters I'm going to take from the name, obviously I just want 4, I want her first name, but I want this to change each time. So I'm going to find, and I'm going to look for a space, because the first name and the last name are separated by a space every time, so I can use that reliably. And I'm going to look in, of course, the name, and where I find that space, I'm going to subtract 1, and if I find the space on space number 5, subtract 1, then I'm going to feed that 4 into my left command, and that is going to give me just the first name, and then I'm going to concatenate a colon on there. Hopefully you did it right. Yes. Okay, and you see, the way we do it with a text formula like this is so that no matter how many letters, Jamie has 6 letters, Vanessa has 7, no matter how many letters, I always want to get 1 less than the space, and that'll get me the first name. Okay, now for the body of my letter, I should probably copy all of these down. So I will take this, and I'm going to move it down, and take these, Control X, Control V. I don't really need those numbers, but I think they serve as a good reminder of where we're at. Maybe a little bit more. Well, we'll leave it here. And I want the body of my letter to be one big cell. And the reason for that is I'm going to use the wrap text, top of line, left. This way, I don't have to worry about the spacing, because the entire body of my letter, no matter how many paragraphs it's going to be, is going to space itself within this cell. So let's figure out what we're going to need before we start assembling all of this. So the first thing we're going to need is, we're going to need this person's name. So I'm going to put this over here just to serve as a reminder. I always do that, start off with the wrong. So index name counter. So that's our name. And then we're going to have the birthday, because our marketing letter is based in large part on the birthday. So there's her birthday, and let's put it in a format that we all recognize. So we'll put a short date format on that. This side. Okay, her birthday, how many years has she been a customer? So years as customer, comma space, and index year of, let's do F3 here, first year I think, comma count her. It's not turning colors like it should. Maybe I did. Nope, did something wrong. Oh, I need a double quote. There's the double quote. Years as customer. Now, I've got the 2009, but I want to take that away from the current year, so I put year, I put today inside the year, and I subtract from it. And that tells me how many years she's been a customer, or any of my others. Years as customer, 6, 4, needs a little wider. There we go. Okay, so that's some good data I want to use as I go forward. Alright, now we're going to do some what I call logic flags, because let's look at our assignment. We're going to have to identify customers within 75 days of a birthday. Well, that's a logic. Is it a birthday? Then, if it's a weekend, if their birthday falls on a weekend, we have to say something else. We have to say, sorry, closed on weekends. Okay. Once we've done all that, we have to ask for 2, have they been customers for over 3 years? Okay. Then for number 3, we have to ask, are they in a target range? So we're going to give them a paragraph about credit. Finally, are they over 40? And then is it, this says Labor Day, but we're now in October, so for my students in this semester, I'm going to change that to Thanksgiving so that we can do appropriate without having to change the dates. Then finally, we have studied an ordinal function, and I've got a pretty good one that I found off the internet that I'm going to put up in my Excel so that I'm not making it overly complicated. So before we start building our letter, let's get our logic straight. It's always a good way to go. So, is it a birthday? Okay. Is it a weekend? Is it a new customer? What's our target age? Are we over 40? Are we on Thanksgiving? What is the date ordinal? And the ordinal is the little STRD. Let me enter that. Let's shrink up J here so this has got more room. And by putting the formula here in this cell, we can name these cells and then use those. Let's see, date ordinal, and then I think I'm going to have a date for a next Monday. We're going to have to figure out, for some circumstances, when is the next Monday of the person's birthday. Alright, so I'm going to name all these cells, Control-Shift F3, and they're going to be true or false. And then I can use a reference to that cell in my if statement to build up my letter. So how do we figure out if it's a birthday? Now, this is simple. How do I approach this? Let me do it, and then we'll make a copy of it, and I'll walk you all through it. Okay, so I wanted and here. I want two things. I want to make sure that I have a 75-day difference in the dates, but since the difference could be positive or negative, and we don't want to send a letter with a birthday greeting to somebody after their birthday, that's kind of dumb. So we're going to have to find out, is our difference positive and 75 days or more? So that's two items. So I'm going to take the date function, which takes a year, a month, and a day. You can't see that. I'm going to have to move. There you go. That's the date function. And I'm just going to start typing. And there's three things in a date. There's a year, and I'm going to supply, let's see, while we're working on these, let's just push ours over here. Excuse me here. I'm just going to start it over, and I'll make it easier for the video. Okay, so for the birthday, it's going to be an and. There's going to be two logical tests. One is, are we 75 days away? So to find that, we have to get a date code. The date function will give us a code, but I don't want the year from the birthday. I want the year that we're currently in. Then the month, I'm going to pull the birthday. So month birthday counter, and if I put the index birthday counter inside the month function, that feeds the month into the date function. Now I do the day, and I do the same thing for the day. Birthday counter. Okay, so now I have a date function with year, month, and day. And so I'm going to close that day function. I'm going to subtract today's date. Okay, and this is important. I'm using the date this year of that person's birthday. Okay, not the year from the date of the year they were born, because the calendar days may be different. And I'm going to ask, is this less than or equal to 75? Whatever this difference is. So that's the first test. Now let's do the second test. The second test requires me to get the same date function, and the green there has the date function, so I'm going to take all of that, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it. Okay, and then I've got to move my little helper out of the way there. Okay, and then I'm going to take and do the same function, probably could have copied that. And I'm going to subtract today, but I'm asking this time whether it's greater than 0. Okay, now that's going to be true or false. An AND statement is true when both logical tests are true. And if we want to take a look at what our tests are, let's look at logical 1. Is the difference between the birthday date and today's date less than or equal to 75? Okay, and then number 2, is it greater than 0? Okay, and I hit enter, and that's false for Kimmy. She's in July 23rd, but it's true for Jamie because she's on the 9th of November, which is coming right up. So my birthday flag says, is this really a person who's going to get a message? Alright, so now we're going to figure out weekends. Weekends are a little tricky, but I came up with an OR function because it's either going to be Saturday or Sunday. So we're going to do a check to see if it's Saturday or Sunday. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to feed my date again, and it's going to be the same month, index, birthday, counter. Okay, now I've got my month, and then I've got to get my day, index, birthday, counter. Okay, there's my date function. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 4Ds. I'm going to use the text function to convert the date code into a day. 4Ds will give me the full name of the weekday, and then I can test it because it'll return either Saturday, Sunday, whatever the date is. Okay, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to say now, is it equal to Sunday? Because if it's equal to either of those, we've got a birthday on a weekend. And that's all I have to do. So let's look. Oh, true. 11/9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see is 11/9. Let me move my. Gosh, I can't. Okay. I'm looking at my computer. Here we go. Now you can. Hopefully you can see it. And I'm looking here for November 9th, and it is a Saturday. So we are doing that right. So let's go back. Pardon me while I get back to where I was. Okay, I'll put this up here. Good. Now we have to ask, is our customer a new customer? So let's go back to the one we were working with. How do we know if they're a new customer? Well, it's just a simple matter of the first year they did business. So I'm going to take the year from today. We just did this above. And I'm going to subtract from it the year. I think it was first. Let's pull up F3, pulls up my names. First year, comma, counter. And I'm going to subtract those two. See if I get less than or equal to 3. Okay, so the year today will be 2013. My index should be, she's 4 years, so this should be true. Or no, this should be false. False, good. Yeah, if I have someone whose year as a customer is 1, they're a new customer. 0 years. Let's see if we get a 2. There's a 0. I don't see any 2s. No matter. We'll go back. I think we have it right. Target age. Okay, now we have to figure out, is this person between the ages of 25 and 30? Now, for this one, we're going to have an AND because we have to be both greater than or equal to 25 and less than or equal to 30. But I'm going to use a couple math functions. The INT function rounds a number down to the nearest integer. So I want the lowest in. I just want to strip off any decimals. The year fraction function will give us counter. Okay, so we're going to put the birthday inside the year fraction. Oop, I need two things, sorry. So we have the start date. Start date is the birthday and the end date is today. Okay, now the year fraction is going to return a number that's going to represent their age. And on the day before they turn whatever their age is going to change, the day before their birthday is going to be 0.999. And so I'm always safe with this formula. It's going to change exactly on their birthday. So let's make sure I have it closed enough. I've closed the index. Now I close the integer function. And I'm going to say greater than or equal to 25. Then a comma. And I'm going to take the same thing. There we go. And put it at the end. And then I'm going to say, are we less than or equal to 30? I close that up. Okay, so Kimmy is not in our target age. True. So 1988, that would make her 2013 minus 1988. Makes her 25 years old. So she's right there. So that one's working. Okay, over 40. I think that's almost exactly the same. So let's just go here, and we'll start by taking that integer, and we'll just say, are we over 40? She's not. Okay, and that would be a good, we're never going to get both of these true, because either your target age is 25 to 30, or you're over 40. Can't both be true. Thanksgiving. Alright, now the way to do Thanksgiving is to get on the internet and find a code for the Thanksgiving Day holiday. And also what I did for you guys is prepared, if we go into our course, you have a page that has date functions. So let's go get the date function, because there are some pretty complicated ways of determining holidays. Okay, so here's the formulas to calculate holidays. It's a spreadsheet. I'm going to open it up. Hopefully it's open. There we go. And so here's the date for Thanksgiving. And that is the formula. So I'm going to take this whole formula, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go back to what I was working on. And, whoops, I don't want to copy it that way. Okay, so equals, Control V. Alright, now what do I have to do to make this work? Date A1 is going to be today. Okay, because I want to know if the date today is Thanksgiving. So I go to A1 and I'm going to type the year, and I'm going to put today, and then I'm going to do that for each of those A1s. So double click, double click, double click, and now let's see, there we go. So I have a good way of determining that is Thanksgiving. So now I want to know, is it equal to date, year? We're going to use today's year, but we're going to do the month and day of the birthday. So there's month, day, okay, month, day, and okay. So that will take this part here turns the birthday into a date code. The first part of the formula says that's the date code for Thanksgiving this year. So we're going to see if it's on Thanksgiving. False. Now, to check something like this, go into your data. Let's see. This is Irina, and we're just gonna let's pick somebody down a little farther here. We'll pick Jeffrey, and I'm gonna force this to be Thanksgiving. Oh, and what is Thanksgiving this year? Let me look it up. Oh, I just did that. Get out of this. Sorry. Back. Leave him the way he was. I went too far with my back. Alright, so let's go to the holiday calculator. November 28th is Thanksgiving Day this year. Go back here, and I'll just change this to 28, 1960, whatever it was. Okay, and when we go down to this guy, Jeffrey, it should, yep, it tripped to true. Everybody else is false. Now, if this was real data, I would go right back and change that so that I didn't get in trouble changing someone's birthday. But that is how to do it. Okay, now we're going to do the date ordinal. And this is just the date of this person's birthday so that we can say, hey, we see your birthday's coming up on the 23rd or something like that. So essentially we're going to take, we're going to have to do this in two parts. So I'm going to come out here and do a text, and I'm going to strip the day out of the birthday. Birthday, comma, counter. Whoops. And I want the text to just tell me the number of the day. Okay. Center that to get that away. Now I can make my other formula a little easier to read, because otherwise I'm burying that in there twice. So I'm just going to say M26, which is the 23. I'm going to concatenate that, and here is the fancy formula. THSTNDRDTH. Min 92 right M26 times whoops 1100 really a nifty formula. I like watching that one work. Oops. Okay, where did I miss my... Okay, so mid, min, right, mod, and mod 2 plus 1 min green. Oh, here it is. There we go. Alright. So now it's the 23rd. And if we've done it right, 9th, 19th, 27th, 10th. See if we find an 11. 6, 7, 8, 5, 28, 10th. Where's an 11? Nobody's birthday. Ah, 11th. Okay. Good. So we've got our date ordinal now. Now we need to know what is the next Monday after their birthday. So if their birthday was on a weekend, we welcome them to the store on the next Monday. And this one was a little tricky. I had to go to the internet and play around, but the answer's interesting. Okay, so we're going to do the same date thing to build up a date code for our birthday. And remember, we don't want the birthday back in the year the person was born. We want the code for this year on the day representing their birthday. So that's why we feed into this code the present year and then the birthday month and day. Okay, now I have the birthday code. Alright, and so what I'm going to do to that is I'm going to add the number of days to get this to the next Monday. So 7 minus weekday, date, and then we're going to put this whole thing back in here. Why did that? I did not hit. Okay. Didn't do that right. But I've got year, and so I'll just take the month and day, copy, paste. So I have date, year today, month, index, day, and I need to close it. Okay, so 1, 2 closes it, and then I need to make Monday be the first number. So Monday's a 1. So if it's a Sunday, I'm just going to add 1 day to it, and if it's Saturday, I'm going to add 2, and go. Okay, so if her birthday's the 23rd, the next Monday is going to be the 29th. 9th is the 11th, and so on. So we've just done a function to calculate the next Monday, should we need that for our formula. So now that we have our logic all thought out, let's start drafting. Okay, now we're going to have tabs, just like this was a typewriter. So if I repeat a blank 10 times and concatenate that with my first sentence. Congratulations on your approaching birthday this coming. Okay, now I have to stop. I have to go and I have to pick up my birthday this coming, oh, what is it? Month, index, birthday, counter, okay, month, and then I want the month name, close the text, and concatenate a space, concatenate our date ordinal. Boom. Okay, so now we have our first sentence done. So I'm going to add a period. Okay, period. Alright, so congratulations on your approaching birthday this coming July 23rd, period. We would like to give you a special. Now I've got to make a choice. I'm going to do an if, and I'm going to ask myself if this is a new customer, and I can do that just by clicking on new customer. If this is a new customer, then I want this to just show 25%. But if it's an old customer, I'm gonna have a special line for them. So I'm just gonna have it go silent. And then I'm going to say birthday discount on your next purchase at our. This is a good chance to throw in some personalization because we know their city. At our city, and now blank store. Okay, now we have to make a choice here. we have to ask if it's the weekend. Okay, because if it's the weekend, we have to say something. Whoops, I want this weekend code. Okay, if it's a weekend, what are we going to do? If it's a weekend, we have to say first, unfortunately, let's see, our stores will be closed on your birthday. But please visit our store on Monday to receive your special discount. Otherwise, don't do anything. So we'll just tell them, come by on Monday and get your discount, or we're not going to say anything. Okay. And I think that's our first paragraph. So let's take a look. Yay, look at that. Okay, congratulations. Let's see how it changes. Spacing looks good. Okay, so there it is. And here, if it turns out that it's going to be on a special birthday discount, so congratulations. We would like to give you a special birthday discount at our Huntsville stores. That looks great. Okay, so it's working. So far, so good. So now we're going to go and we're going to add a line about special. Let's see. So we've closed the if statement, so now we have an and we're going to ask, is this a new customer? Okay, if it is a new customer, then we don't do anything because they don't get a special. But if they are not a new customer, then we're going to take repeating character 10, gives us a double space. Whoops, we want to do it 2 times. And then we're going to do our tab 10 times. Okay, and then we're going to start with, in recognition of your customer loyalty, these last space. Okay, now let's tell her how many years. Year, today, minus index of first year they did business, comma counter. Okay, so that tells me the number of years, and years. We are pleased to double our regular birthday discount and offer you a, what are we going to give them? Offer you a full 50% off of any purchase you make. Alright. Now we have to ask a question. If it was a weekend, then they're going to make their purchase on Monday. But if it's not a weekend, whoops, on Monday, comma, and if it's false, well, no, let's see, on Monday, we're going to do month index birthday counter. Okay, there's the month, and we'll, oops, little m's. So that'll give us the month name, and space, and here we want the next Monday, Oh gosh, we did not put a... Okay, I'll just put something there, M27. We'll remember to come back to that. Period. Okay, so that's the Monday. Otherwise, value if false. See how I'm walking my way through this. So now, if it's false, it's going to be on text month index birthday counter MMMM. I guess I could have put these to the side too, but and space and the date ordinal. Okay, and then put a period and close my if statement. Alright, see how that works. Okay, I've got an error. Let's find it. Ah, there's an and missing. Concatenate. Now I've got another error. Okay, we'll find that. So I'm worried about my if. If it's a weekend, if it's true, double quote, and formula, and double quote, and. Okay, and then value of false on text month index birthday counter comma M. Okay, we closed that one. I'm not seeing it. Okay, false. Oh, I'm still in my new customer. Okay, so if new customer. Alright. Let me pause this so I can find it without making you wait for me. Okay, it was a really dumb error. It was the close of the new customer if. So if we go into new customer, okay, true was nothing, false was the whole thing. So this should work. There we go. Okay. So there's the customer loyalty paragraph. This person doesn't get it. Oh, but there's a space in the 25%. So let's put that space there. Okay, so loyalty, these last 4 years, any purchase you make on January 27th, which is the birthday. So we'll go back up. So far, so good. Okay, so what next here? We've gotten our second one. Now what we want to do is we want to ask, are we looking at the target age? So we're going to do an if and say, is it our target age? And if our target age is true, we're going to go and go down 2 lines, and then we're going to tab in. Okay, and we're going to give them the credit pitch. So in light of your good credit, if you open a new credit account with us and charge your birthday purchase to this new account, there will be no interest charged for 2 years. Oh, let's make it more important, 2 full years. Okay. Otherwise, nothing. And that should be... So let's look around here. Up, there we go. So this person is target age in live your good credit. Perfect. Okay, so we've got the third one done. So we're getting a big formula here. Now we're looking for the holiday, I believe. So finally, I guess we have to say if it's Thanksgiving, then we'll need a new 2 spaces, a new tab in, and a new sentence that says, because your birthday falls on Thanksgiving this year, we also want to let you know that you may take your special discount on top of the regular 10% discount that will be offered in all of our stores during the Thanksgiving Day sale. And I guess we're just going to be that rare store that opens on Thanksgiving. But the point is to be able to deal with that eventuality. Alright, finally, we've got our closing, so we're going to go down 2 more and tab in. Let's see. Oh, we forgot the over 40. What's the over? Oh, okay, no, we're fine. Okay, so everybody's going to get this one. This is going to say thank you for your, well, thank you again for your continued business and interest in our products, and we're going to now do our closing. So I'll put in 6 tabs, and sincerely yours. Okay, now we have to ask a question. We have to say, are we over 40? If we are over 40, we're going to come in, actually, before we tab over 60, we're going to go down 4. Okay. And then we're going to say our name, your name here. Go down 1 more line. Tab over 60 times and say President and CEO. Okay, because our, well, I'll just call it President. Our marketing shows that older folks respond to that. The younger folks don't. They don't care who signs it as long as they get their discounts. So they're going to get a letter that is just Customer Rewards Department. Okay. And that does the over 40. Okay, and I think there was one thing that we didn't quite get right. That was that M27. So we want to put the date of next Monday. So I'll hit enter. But the next Monday date, I have to extract the day from here. And that's 29th. Okay, so that's good. Let's look for a Monday to see if our Monday works. Unfortunately, our stores will be closed on your birthday, but please visit our store on Monday to receive your special discount. Monday, January 11th. Okay, so we need a space. Monday, January 11th. Where is that? Date ordinal. space, Monday, comma, here's my comma, well, let's see. So on Monday, comma, space. There we go. That looks good. Let's keep going. That's the simplest one. That has the rewards department. Good. Let's look for an older person. See if that is working. There we go. There's an older person, and they get their signature there. So that is a basic form letter that goes through the data that we did in our prior example. Okay, and the reason why it's not moving this is I have two counters. So, oops, the holiday. So here we go. So what have we learned here? We've learned how to create one big cell that acts like a word processor, and we can have it spacing out all these different variations of our letter without too much difficulty. But the real thing here is this big formula is a lot easier because we're putting much of the work of that formula into these formulas here. So I'll escape out. Each one of these has a fair bit of things going on. So when you have a difficult problem to solve, break it into parts, put your logic to the side. It makes the assembly of the final product much easier. Okay, I was reviewing the video and we forgot to do the very last but very crucial step of limiting the letter to only those who have the birthday within 75 days. So because everything that we've done so far, this entire formula, is the true condition of that last if statement, wait to do it until last. So I go to the front, I type if, then I take my last logic test, is birthday, comma, okay, here's the true condition. Now the false condition would be, here, let's go in, go in 20 here, just to give it some space, and we'll say this customer does not receive a letter in this promotion. And then close that big if statement. And so we go back and let's take a look here. I'm going to minimize the formula window so we can see more of our letter. And there we go. This customer does not receive a letter in this promotion. All the others that do, great. And another good reason to wait until you put this last filter on is that we had a lot more of the combinations of data that were visible before we hid them, so it helped us to edit. So here we are, we're finished. We have everything working, and I think it's a good example of another way to make data that's available visible and useful to a business.